When it comes to new books, I'm always going to say yes. But when it comes to shelf space, I got to ask, Ken Follett, do all your books got to be this thick? Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back, another book haul, this time for September of 2024. Another fun month, and when it comes to adding new things to the shelves, as always. But another difficult month when it comes time to finding space for all of them. But again, that is the business that we have chosen. Let's dip into it, guys, with the ones that don't take up shelf space. That, of course, is digital purchases on the old e-reading device. I choose the Kindle Oasis. But I've heard some people saying some things about Kindle lately. The reason why they're leaving, can I understand that? I've invested too much into this now to go back. So obviously, whatever e-reading device does work for you. Picked up some things. First off, I picked up Gunmetal God. Now, this is by ℓ𝕦𝕣𝕒𝕤𝕤. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Zamil and I have spoken on Twitter a couple times. I'm very interested in this series because it looks like it does deal with maybe pirates fighting some eldritch-looking beasts. Some of the artwork on his new Kickstarter edition just came out. It looks like it's got some nice little tentacly monsters. And one I think is really awesome. It's made like a giant eyeball with tentacles and stuff. Just very Lovecraft. I think that's really awesome looking. So yeah, sometimes artwork can sell you on a series. So I don't know very much about this at all, but I want to give them all my support because Gunmetal Gods looks to be an interesting entry from a self-pub author. And I've heard good things about it from those who have read it. Next up, when I actually went to that signing that I moderated for Ryan Cahill and Chris Verrocchio, I was talking to some of the people that were there in person. And one of the readers actually, he recommended a series called Hood, which I guess is a take on Robin Hood, and it's by Stephen Lawhead. And just right there in the store, I said, that sounds very good. I do love the Robin Hood story and any kind of takes on that I'm interested in checking out. But he was really high on this series. So I said, why not? Why don't I go ahead and give that a try again? Haven't done a ton of research on it, and it was the first I had ever heard of it. But any take on the Robin Hood story is always quite fun for me. And also, I read last spooky season, or maybe it was 2 spooky seasons ago. I don't know. The years are just zipping by at this point. But I did read Paul Tremblay for the first time with Head Full of Ghosts, and I mixed a positive on it, but I liked it quite a bit. I just didn't like the journal entry part, but I did say I liked him enough that I'm going to give some more of his work a try, and that's why I had picked up The Cabin at the End of the World. So I don't know if this is what the movie Knock at the Cabin was based on. I know that one of his books did get optioned for a movie. I just don't recall if it was this one or not, and I don't know if that's what it was, so I don't know if that's what the M. Night Shyamalan movie is or not, but even if not, it doesn't matter. Paul Tremblay, I like that the ending of Head Full of Ghosts has been in my head for that long now that I would definitely give him another try. And that's why I did go ahead and pick those up, because I'm always looking to find new modern horror authors, and he seems to be one that I'm going to like a little bit. So how about some of those physical purchases? I actually do have a few this month. So I actually joked at the beginning, but Ken Follett is an author I feel like has got my trust, which is weird because I've only read one of his books. I'll be revisiting Kingsbridge here very soon with some books I haven't read before, but Pillars of Earth, one of my favorite books ever, and it's got me. I'll buy anything by Ken Follett, and a series I hear a lot about is the Century Trilogy, and I went ahead and picked up that matching set from Blackwell's. This is Fall of Giants, Winter of the World, and Edge of Eternity. I think this is actually takes place of a family over several wars around the world. I think 1961, 1933, 1911. So it's like W1, WW2, and maybe the Korean War. I'm not really sure how that really works out. But some have asked me, do they actually match like the Kingsbridge ones do? They do. So the thing about Blackwell's, I want to give them a quick shout out here, is they sent this to me, and apparently it got lost in the mail. When it got to me, you might have seen where I posted on my community post that, hey, if you try sending me some books, this box showed up and just said, received damage. The box was literally empty. It was from them, and I got in touch with Blackwell's, and they sent me the return order with no charge. Obviously, they were very, very gracious about it. They understood, and yeah, they do incredible work at Blackwell's, and shipping is free to the States, you guys. So these sets, all these and the Kingsbridge ones, all the Ken Follett books seem to have a nice matching set. So if you're into that, I would say go for it. And next, with Brandon Sanderson, I have only read the Cosmere books. And I've read all of them except for Yumi, the Nightmare Painter, and the Sunlit Man. The thing is I didn't want to get the paperbacks because, or even the standard hardcovers that you can buy on Amazon because they don't look this nice. You have to go on Dragonsteel to get these, but holy crap, are these amazing. Yeah, definitely worth the upcharge because it was a little more expensive I think, than the ones they're selling on Amazon. But I mean, they're just amazing. And honestly, I feel like he could charge a lot more for these, honestly, because these editions are just incredible. And I feel like if he wanted to charge $100 for these, he probably could. They look incredible. And I think if you treat your books really, really well, like I tend to, I think they're going to hold their value just a little bit. So yeah, I don't know anything about the Sunlit Man or Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I've heard mixed to positive on both, but for me, if it's in the Cosmere, I'm going to give it a try. And now that I actually possess these on hardcover, I can say I will get them on the schedule. I'll be doing Wind and Truth with everybody else in December, but these will be happening in 2025 without a doubt. Let me know which one you guys like better and which one you think I should do first, because that is something I'm going to make happen, because when it comes to the Cosmere, Brandon Sanderson pretty much doesn't miss for me. Next up, got a few books from some authors I want to take a look at. And when it comes to all things with these, I'm not real familiar with any of these. I can really tell you very much about them. So I'm going to drop a link down below if you want to check them out and give them a look-see and see if this would be something that you'd be interested into. First up, we have the Shady Fortunes by Douglas Bannerman. And then we have The Barbarian, a Battle Brothers novel by Casey Hollingshead. That is a really rad cover. I like that a lot. Very, very cool. I like that in the back. Death Would Be Warmer. Very neat. Legacy Emergence. This is by Bradley Elliott. It's like almost looks like a Mass Effect cover. Something like that. Calico Hill. This is a hardcover by Chris Alexander. What Does It Mean to Be Human in a World Without Death? And then I got a trio of books, horror books by S.Q. McGrath here. This is Sublime Messages. Saw that I was doing spooky season and said I wanted to send you some horror books. The Women in the Woods. Creepy looking. And Dark Heart. That looks rad. Looks really, really rad. So again, I got to say, with self-pub, it comes to that, I feel like the cover art on these things are just getting better and better. And I think back to when I first started doing this, some of the self-pub that I got, like, it really looked like somebody was just doing something on Microsoft Paint and pressing print to put on the front of their cover. You guys are actually getting some really, really great artists now. And I do encourage that. With the takeover of AI, I admire that people are still hiring artists and commissioning artists to do great and original work. I am very much in favor of it. But I got a ton of stuff from some publishers, and we're going to take a look at those next. And I'd like to say first, if we had correspondence, and I forgot this directly from the author, I do apologize. I get so many messages that sometimes I do forget. So if it comes without a note, I assume it's just directly from the publisher. This is War of the Hounds by David Hopkins. This is Earth's Veil by J.F. Bloomfield. Looks like a nice parallel dimensions there. The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. Snakes and Daggers. Tim Powers. Now, Tim Powers seems to be an author that Christopher Rocchio, I call him Paul Heyman. If you guys are wrestling fans, you know because he feels like Tim Powers' personal hype man. He's always telling me how amazing Tim Powers is, and I should give him a try. These were both from Baen. This is My Brother's Keeper by Tim Powers. I think it's Anubis Gates is the one that Christopher is always telling me to try. And Howard Andrew Jones, Shadow of the Smoking Mountain. This is Chronicles of Hanevar, which has gotten very, very popular. And look, I'm going to be straight here with you. I planned on starting this when it was completed, and I was really saddened to hear the news that Mr. Jones is actually has terminal brain cancer, and he's basically spending his last few months with family. And so I don't think the story is going to actually be completed. But I always say I never want to say I'm not going to read your series if it's not complete. With me, it's just as a scarred, longtime Song of Ice and Fire reader, it gets real easy to say, you know what? I'm going to wait and see if your series gets finished first before I start it. But in this regard, I think throwing any kind of support we can to Mr. Jones and his family is obviously going to be a great thing. And I've heard amazing things about his books. So I don't know if this has like a stopping point. I heard it was going to be 5 books, and this is the 3rd one. So I really don't know what's up with that. But just know I was very sad to hear about that news, because this book series was just taking off, and it just goes to show, guys. I don't want to get too deep on you here, but it just goes to show that go like that. It can be over just like that, So live life to your fullest, no doubt. I did get a couple of arcs that I have to talk about here. First, Fear of the Gods. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year. And of course, I get it right when spooky season starts. And it was tempting. It was tempting to say, hell of a spooky season. I'm going to start that. But as soon as I finish Warrior Prophet, that's my last book in spooky season, I'll be starting this one for sure. So I'm not even sure we'll make it till November when I start this. So I might actually be starting this close to around, right when the release date is, which I think is the 22nd. But I want to thank John, obviously. I want to thank Edward and Will, who all made sure that I got a physical copy of this. I do appreciate it so much. And of course, Orbit for sending it directly to me. So it was very, very cool of you to do that. I do appreciate that. I also got a digital ARC, actually an uncorrected galley of The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which is without a doubt probably my #1 most anticipated book coming out in 2025. So again, I had so many temptations to say screw it with my schedule and start all these. But sometimes I feel like if you're going to have a lot of viewers who are giving, they're participating in a reading schedule, I think it's only polite to stay on that schedule. So I know some people be like, screw your schedule, do what you want to do. Well, I get so much participation from the audience when it comes to spooky season. And I don't want to tell them, hey, we're reading these books in October, and then be like, hey, have fun, So, I'll be starting those two in November, obviously, that are very, very anticipated books, and getting both of them at the same time. I got to try to get those in before I get Wind and Truth in December. So it's going to be a fun final quarter of the year, but it is going to take some moving some things around to make sure that I get everything in. Did get some books from Folio Society, which continue to be amazing. I know so many people had problems with the green bone covers, but now that they're completed, I feel like a lot of people are coming around. I love the stained glass windows thing. If you know, you know. This series just continues to just be absolutely beautiful. What Broken Binding did with this Green Bone Saga, guys. These covers are so nice; they make me want to read it again. So to me, that's all you can ask for in a nice special edition. And these just look stunning when they're put together. And speaking of stunning when they're put together, I was giddy when I saw the purple box. I didn't know if I was getting these or not. I have been told by so many people that I think, hey, Mike, you liking Song of Ice and Fire like you do, I think you would love Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. I'm not sure exactly what the series is about. I've just gotten tons of recommendations for it. But a series like this, just looking this beautiful, this is something that makes you want to read it immediately. So thank you to Matt and his team over at Broken Binding for making sure that I got a copy of this set, because it's wow. They call it the Midnight Edition, and they are just incredible looking. So I do unboxings for all their stuff over on my Instagram. Check the description below if you want to hit me up on Instagram. I do all my unboxings over there, and I unbox everything that I get from Broken Binding, because I just think that's the perfect thing to do with Broken Binding content, because their books are almost 100% of the time absolutely stunning and magnificent. And I am still overwhelmed with gratitude that they send me these things, because you guys do rock. So I've heard some people be like, I would love to get into the Broken Binding, but that subscription waiting list is so long. Get on it. So many people drop off of it. So, I mean, sometimes you'll get on there and be, oh, God, I'm like almost like a 2-year wait. I've seen people tell me that, and like 3 months later, they're in. So that's just kind of like a cover your ass number. So I say get on that wait list now if you guys want to get in on the Broken Binding, because I think you'll obviously be satisfied once you do. And then I get one more from the Folio Society, which I also unboxed on Instagram. And this was actually what they contacted me about. They said, hey, we see that you are a big Dune fan. Can we send you a copy of Children of Dune? And I said, is water wet? Of course, I'm going to say yes to that. And then they actually sent me the Canticle for Leibowitz as well, which I did review on the channel. But guys, I mean, the kids look great, don't they? The kids look awesome. I'm not going to talk too much about this, because I know there's a ton of people who saw the new movie and they don't know what's going to happen in Children of Dune. So I don't want to tell them too much about Messiah or Children of Dune, but just Folio Society, if I've got to tell you why they do amazing work, just open your eyes and look. I mean, their art is amazing. How sturdily put together their books are is just fascinating. And they do amazing work. And when they're messing with my favorite science fiction universe of all time, that's going to be a good combination. So thank you so much to Folio Society for sending this over. You guys do rock. I do got some mystery boxes, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been very, very hard to sit on these for a few weeks. Okay, we have 5 of them here. This one, not really. It's like a partial here. This says, thank you for reading The Mechanics of Memory. I hope you enjoy it. I can't read the name. The signature's a little out of focus here. Look at Audrey Lee. Audrey Lee, I do apologize. So here we go. Let's check this out here. The Mechanics of Memory. There we go. So thank you so much. This is an ARC, not actually out yet. So I'll drop that link down below if you guys want to check out, because I'm not familiar actually with that title. This one says it's from the Aardvark Book Club. Looks like a shoebox. It'd be really cool if there were some shoes in there, right? There are not shoes. Think inside the box. Okay. Got some really rad bookmarks. And it says, say hello to August. Flip over. And got a member challenge. Okay, so we'll fill that. Look at that later. The actual book is by Lev Grossman, who I've heard of. And this is The Bright Sword. And also by Stuart Turton. This is The Last Murder at the End of the World. That sounds like a Agatha Christie title. Really, really does. And one more. This is The Stardust Grail by Yumi Kitase. My apologies for that. I know that was probably very, very wrong. So thank you to the Aardvark Book Club for sending those over. And again, I'll drop these links down below if you want to check any of these titles out, because besides Lev Grossman, I haven't actually, I'm not familiar with any of those authors. This one is from, let's see here, Mythology Press. Very, very cool. Looks like a Christmas present. Let's see. You remember that movie Clue where they're opening the gifts with the murder weapons? That's what it looks like. Hope this isn't this is a murder weapon. I'll be very upset. Very, very upset. Okay, let's see here. Looks like it's another shoebox. Nope, it's not a shoebox. It just looked like it was shaped like one. Okay. This is Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts and Heliotrope by Palmer Pickering. I've heard of Heliotrope before. I forget. I think it was actually, Bo? Was it Bo who told me about Heliotrope? I forget. Maybe it was over on Tori's channel. I think they were talking about Heliotrope. So I think that's actually a friend of hers. Not familiar. Not really familiar. But again, I am going to pass links down for all this stuff if you guys want to see. And we'll look at it and check it out together. Okay, a couple more here. This one just has a star. Stars are cool. Okay. This has, it's got a, can't tell if the 2040, it's a magnet. It's an election magnet. 2040, we're going to vote the robots in. Pressabot for president. Couldn't be worse, right? Okay, Silicon Valley Satire by Pedro Dominguez, 2040. It's very cool. Almost looks kind of Futurama. I like that. And it's got the red, white, and blue confetti on the inside there. So, nice touch. And we have one last one. It looks like a spooky season one because it says A Grimoire Dark, a Spirit Hunter series. This is by D.S. Quinton. Hellish Spirit, Hear Me Clearly. Oh, that's cool. Looks kind of Dresden Filesy. Yeah. It's funny because Harry doesn't actually wear a hat, but he does on all the covers. Good time. It's got some parchment here. Oh, Mike, thanks for the great channel. I'm right there with you, Cy King. I hope you have room on your shelf for one more book. Long days and pleasant nights. Dark Tower fan, I do appreciate that. This is a really well put together box. Look at that. These are just getting better and better, aren't they, guys? This stuff is so cool. Okay. Looks like that tater sack that Jason Voorhees had over his head in Friday the 13th Part 2. If you know, you know. He didn't always have the hockey mask. You know how people don't realize that? Hell, there's so many people who don't even realize that Jason wasn't even in the first Friday the 13th. Well, I mean, I guess he was. It's more of a cameo. But it was Ms. Voorhees. Spoiler. Okay. So we got several layers here to get through. Let's see if I can find the right combination. So I'm talking about Friday the 13th trivia while I'm doing a box unboxing. How about that? And there we go. A Grimoire Dark, D.S. Quinton. Very, very rad. Thank you kindly. That is very, very awesome, you guys. Thank you, everyone, for all of these mystery boxes. It's always so much fun to open these, and the anticipation can drive you a little crazy, but I do love to unbox them. So thank you guys for that, and I do have, lastly, a few things from some viewers. Okay, first up, a pair that have to do with Christopher Rocchio, and it's actually kind of funny. I always joked on Christopher Rocchio's live streams is I would say, hey, my favorite Sun Eater book is Golden Sun. Just because, you know, all the jokes get made. But even I made that video recently saying, like, stop comparing Sun Eater and Red Rising. They're both great series for different reasons. And the authors are more alike than the series actually are. And so Nolan actually went to a Christopher Rocchio signing and had Christopher Rocchio sign Golden Sun to me, where Christopher, I don't know if you can read it, actually says, you know, that he... he tricked me, that he actually was Pierce Brown the whole time. So very fun of Christopher to do that, and for Nolan to send it over, who agrees with me that both Red Rising and Sun Eater are amazing series, and we should just love both of them instead of trying to pit them against each other. And also, while Christopher was in town, he was looking for this all over Barnes & Noble, because I told you earlier, guys, that he is Tim Powers' his hype man, but he did make sure that he bought me The Stress of ℙ𝕦𝕣𝕠𝕠𝕜 by Tim Powers. That's the one he wants me to read, if not Anubis Gates first. So I'll definitely be trying to add this to my list in 2025. And I thank Christopher so much. It was really, really rad getting to hang with Christopher while he was here. And him buying me a book, the guy just couldn't be cooler, could he? Really couldn't. And this one was really, really personal. I actually appreciate this quite a bit. A viewer named Mark sent this book to me and said, as the dad of 4 boys, I sometimes can feel like I'm the worst dad in the world. So he's like saying that some more personal stuff I won't really get into, but we talked about kind of the hardships of being a new dad stuff. And he said, we'd actually talked about this a few times in direct messages, and I appreciate it, hearing from other dads, because you can't think that you're the worst dad in the world sometimes, and then you hear some other things, and you hear that everybody's a rookie when they become a parent. We're all rookies, and it's just, you never really outgrow that. You're always going to make mistakes. So I thought this book was really fun. There are dads way worse than you. I thought this was very, very fun. This looks like the same one as those Darth Vader dad books. Tons of fun. But this is it's like, you could be Walter White. You could be Darth Vader cutting off Luke's head. You could be Jack Torrance trying to chop down Danny. So very fun book. And I appreciate the letter that you sent, Mark. That meant a ton. And yeah, dads need a support group. I think we all do need a support group. Judy, I appreciate you sending me another thing. Judy is just amazing. She sends me a note almost every single month. I do appreciate it. I'm glad that you've checked out Blake Crouch and you've become a fan. That's super, super awesome. I'm so glad that people that, are usually just going to stick to just fantasy are giving Blake Crouch a try and be like, wow, that's actually really good. I hope it leads them down that road to picking up some Michael Crichton in the future. And this is from Dylan, who actually gave me his list on a postcard of his 10 favorite Stephen King novels, or actually 11 favorite Stephen King novels. And he is saying he's looking forward to me making that part 4 video. When do we get to it? 2025 is the year, dear Dylan. It's going to be next year. I'll be getting into my Stephen King tier list for part 4, because I will be completing the next arc of my reread, which will be from Rebuke 8 and I guess Dark Tower 6 and 7. And then I'll be doing my part 4 of my tier list. Now part 5, who knows? Who knows when that's going to happen? But thank you, everyone, for everything you sent this month. It means the world to me that you continue to think of me and just have such a good heart that you want to send things to me. I appreciate it more than you can ever know, more than I can ever say in this video. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to keep telling you guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate everything. But I would love to know what you guys added to the old bookshelves in the month of September. Why don't you go ahead and drop in the comments, guys, and let me know, and I will talk to you there.